Welcome. I rearranged my whole entire apartment and cleaned and gardened. And my dog was just chilling. We didn't have to go anywhere or do anything. She's probably pretty happy. Um, I've been reflecting on my journey. And as well, just to warn you that this content may not be for everybody. I clearly also use marijuana as part of my therapy, and that may not be agreeable to a lot of people. I'm really happy that I get to use marijuana, even though I'm on SSRIs. So I've been studying so much. I've been studying all of the different ADA laws. I've called the ADA. I have researched and then found just recently what I think is the clearest definition of what a service dog in Hawaii is, written here by. I'm gonna just cover my face now that you've seen it. Oh, okay. Let me get to the right. This Streamlabs OBS is not easy stuff, so I'm probably going to become. Okay, so this is what I want on the window capture. Let's see if that's working. Let's see, window capture. No. And then Satori is sleeping in the hallway. She doesn't want to be in my. But lucky she knows that when I'm filming, she doesn't bug me. It's really nice. She's like very understanding of me as a content creator. So this is the clearest definition of what I could find as far as what is a service dog in Hawaii? Can someone with a psychological disability or a mental illness like bipolar disorder or depression or having an attempt of suicide or CPTSD symptoms, can they qualify their service dog on any level? So I've been thinking a lot about homeless people and how much of a service this could be for people who are homeless and mentally ill or disabled. And I mean, there's already people who are doing this, so what I've been doing has just kind of unveiled itself to me, as I think that a lot of owner trainers also fall into, right? Like a homeless person who has a dog picks a dog that they don't actually have to take care of. They'll feed them, but I'm sure that each person understands autonomy and pulling your own weight is part of street life, usually. And certainly more of a pack mentality if you're both homeless, I can imagine. Okay, so I am now looking at key points for qualifying as a service dog, and this is here on the Hawaii.gov website. This is if you're a guide and service dog entering Hawaii. How to clear through quarantine, because we in the entire state of Hawaii to this day still do not have rabies, so they wanted to keep it that way. And so in order to get a rabies vaccination, the dog has to be 1 year of age or older. The laboratory will not perform tests after 12 months of age. So that answers my question around how does Hawaii State deal with service dogs in training. Um, they are not considered service dogs until the work or task a dog has been trained to provide must be, the dog must already be trained before it can be taken into public areas. Um, and so I've taken Satori with me slowly over time. Just, you know, I've done it by survival. It's not been a choice, I guess. Um, it had to be figured out. I can really parallel this a lot to moving to Japan. I moved to Japan in 2016, and I'm just a firm believer of my spiritual sort of manifestation abilities, where it's like everything is just gonna open. If you want something bad enough and you feel it in your heart that it's something that's important in your life, like this doggus has been an important part of my healing, of my life. Um, then the universe will just open its doors to allow you to allow you to realize and be accepted in your vision, in your manifestation. Doors will open. Doors will open. And I did not know what I was doing when I even was bringing Satori with me to Sam's Club. But I knew that we had to make a living. I knew that I had to have a dog, and I knew that we needed to make a living. And if I don't make money with my business, I use gig economy work to pay my bills. So that there wasn't an option or a choice. And she wasn't able. She was 5 months old, and she wasn't able to. She wasn't going to be left alone in the car while I was shopping, because I do have a memory problem, and I am really slow at this job, but it does give me freedom and give me some income. It gives me a trickling daily income, which is necessary to put gas in the car or to always have food in the fridge. So having enough food for me and my dog is never an issue, because there's gig economy work. Before, there was only sex work and other like selling drugs, selling weed, doing risky behavior. And now, if you have a car and good credit, there's a different level of access for people who are high functioning, to be able to wing it for 6 hours or a day doing Uber or a shift, or be 3 on and 4 off or whatever. It's a godsend for people to do gig economy work who have disabilities, who have mental illnesses. So I just want to be able to speak for, and I am personally just exploring it through my own, I'm training myself as an owner, as a handler, right? Like, I didn't know anything, but people just showed me the way. Like, I thought she was an emotional service animal, emotional support dog when we first started. And I didn't identify as having a disability. I didn't know, my therapist didn't know the rules about ESAs either. Most people don't even understand the difference between ESAs and therapy dogs, because they go up to Satori and totally pet her without asking. I mean, it's lucky that she likes it most of the time. And so she's a combination of being a therapy dog, being an ESA, and being a service dog. But she hasn't been trained to do the tasking for her service yet. Aside from tactile redirection, I could call it, because I just heard someone who has a trained service dog who uses tactile redirection, which is what she does. I can argue in a court of law what my service dog does for me, but it needs to be totally, she's a puppy. So I want to go back to this window capture where it says, what do they consider to be a service dog? This is like they've had their rabies. Would they let a outside of state service dog who was a puppy come in? No, they wouldn't, because they'd have to have a rabies test. They can't have a rabies clearance until they're 12 months of age, which is 1 year. So Satori is 8 months right now, and she's been microchipped, and she is so ready, because every day we train in public access, and I only do it for like the whole trip. She's already trained to do public access trips of 1 hour. And then we take the bus, and that's way longer than 1 hour, but I try to keep it like, she can go up to 2 hours with the public access, 2 hours. The bus ride is an hour and a half, but it's chill. Most of the time she's just laying on me, and that again is bad service dog etiquette, but she is also not really a service dog, and I am breaking the law to put her on my lap, to have her wear a vest, but like I don't have a car. So again, being an owner trainer, being a low income person, just doing the best that you can, like being one step above the class of person, or I'm speaking and advocating by living in the body of a disabled person who is figuring out owner training in a DIY way on behalf of people who are homeless, on behalf of people who want to do this but can't, I think it's fabulous. I think I am a high functioning person, and that's how I was as a sex worker rights activist. Like I was a high functioning sex worker rights activist, and that's why people liked me, to speak on panels and stuff and travel. But I was really still engaged in high risk behavior and slow suicide, and just making do, and now it's like I want to offer this as a therapy that homeless people, that ex-cons, that felons, that people who could be an Eileen Wernos but just need a dog, but just need a service dog, to straighten them out, to give them a purpose, I really find a new calling in this. Like it feels good to me, and I'm still going in this direction. So it's been a while, and I feel strongly in it, and yeah, so Satori is totally, yesterday she was at Sam's Club, and I was filming a little bit, but I was just training her I was like trying to figure out the dog in the shopping cart issue, right? Like, Costco doesn't want any dogs in the shopping cart, but it's like, how do I carry the heavy stuff without putting my dog at risk? How do people do that? And so then I trained her to sit and stay and wait, and she's on, wait is more serious than stay. Like when I do this with my hand, like she's done it in an airport at Honolulu, like I just don't have a choice, this is what's awesome about us as a team. Like I just put her on the spot, and then she fucking rocks it. I'm so happy to have this dog because she's just like, I got this. I just feel like really awesomely paired with her, it's like synchronicity, and that's why she's the doggist, because she's the perfect dog for me, like I just try it. I'm like, okay, let's see if she can jump in the kennel at busy Honolulu airport, if she'll do that, like if she'll allow herself to be taken away without barking, or she jumped in the kennel, no problem, she can do it, she does not freak out. I took a picture of her in the kennel, and then I just take her away from that, and then it's like Riding the bus home with a service dog. Are you expected to hold on to your service dog? Hold on. Are you expected to hold on to your service dog like this for an hour, because she's sliding around, because your dog is a light dog and inertia and gravity don't, will make people, it's dangerous for the dog. It is safer for her to be in a chair next to me. These kinds of things that people could complain about, but they don't. Nobody has so far. It's been awesome. And so that's another healing, therapeutic aspect of having this dog around you and claiming your disability, and needing this presence, needing the attention, I suppose, because service dogs give you attention. They are going to get you attention. And so then that's why I put Love as my service dog on there, because it's like, if we're going to get attention as a team, then I might as well do it my way. And yeah, I want to train other homeless people to have service dogs instead of do drugs. Oops. Can't take that call, but this is a live, so we'll put that call on hold and call that person back. But yeah, it is like an alternative therapy for a lot of people. It's non-invasive protection for people who are on the streets. It keeps people distracted with love, basically. It gives people who feel unlovable love. I find it, to be a great therapy with me so far. And it just, so many things are happening unexpected, like this is what people are seeking when they do drugs. I think of Gabor Mate's work and how he talks about being in the realm of hungry ghosts, and how it's like your early childhood trauma is always going to drive you to do risky behavior, is always going to be the root of your addiction and the need to self-harm. And so I think that anybody who has been diagnosed with drug addiction, could use and train a dog to alert her, out of doing, relapsing. If you are serious about doing that, you could train your dog to do that. But, I'm not a drug addict, so it's hard for me to really imagine what that would be like. If I can imagine someone's partner training a dog to prevent relapse, but it has to come from the person, so they have to want to train their dog. That's the only way that it'll work. Otherwise, you're putting the dog at risk, because they'll just throw the dog under the bus. So, I mean, it's possible. Everything is possible. I do smoke weed, but I did that other live where I was like chopping up my antidepressant. I did actually try it. It doesn't make you high. It's just like a joke, I guess. It's to weed out the people who are weak-minded, who are not going to be on board with any of my content anyway. Anyway, so let's go back. I was talking about Hawaii state laws. So 12 months of age minimum. Then she's a dog. Then she's a service dog. So she's currently a service dog in training. Who is training her? I am training her. But what I'm going to hire someone else to do, and I'm in conversation with different trainers right now because I'm not a professional trainer, is to hone down and to sculpt the different task behaviors that different survivors of sexual violence and CPTSD might find useful. And I think that there is a niche that I could create in the service dog world that I could spend a lifetime doing. So I don't know if this is like an unexpected career path or not. I have delusions of like grandeur, and that's why I like to. I documented my whole awakening into understanding my disability, understanding my CPTSD, my complex post traumatic stress disorder part of the PTSD, and those two together create something called comorbid PTSD. And I found out in October that that together can create like physical disabilities in me, if it's not checked. If I'm allowed to just keep going and going on my little delusions of grandeur or whatever it is that I'm going off on in my mind and my behavior. Um, so having a dog to redirect your behavior, that is my answer to the second question. What is your service dog trained to do? And she's currently doing that already, you know. She's not trained to do it, but her love redirects my behavior. So that is what this live is about. So I intend to make her a full-fledged service dog, and she will be one once. I think that'll be her marking when she gets her rabies vaccine. She'll be a dog, even though some people don't consider a dog to be a dog until 2 years of age. But she is mature for her age. She is. I mean, I pushed her out into public access. I didn't feel like I had a choice. I mean, her mom is mentally ill. And has to work, and so I have to work, you have to work with me. That's kind of like how I went about doing it. That's how homeless people do their dogs, you know. It's like they're not on leash, you're free to go whenever you want, you know. It's like this is a team, they're a team. And a lot of mental illness exists on the streets, a lot of mental illness exists in the sex industry, and in prison. And most everybody has PTSD of some sort, but the kind of PTSD which is a disability, which is just debilitating memory loss and subconscious trances and risk behavior and things like that, that lead to drug addiction and lead to just death and disorder and mayhem, unnecessary mayhem. That is what your service dog can be trained to. I see it really in the past few days that I've been researching it. I see it mostly as like how to get her certified, like how to get her, you know, like I had to get a visa to work in Japan. How did I do that? How did I get, you know, all the different, how did I check all the boxes? It took a long time, 6 months. But I did it. And I stayed there for 3 years, and then I was done. How do I get my dogter to be certified to be with me, you know, wherever I go? And also I want to breed other emotional service dogs. It's a bridge between emotional support animal and service dog, specifically for people with CPTSD and mental illness and PTSD symptoms, that they could buy a dog from me as a breeder. I'm looking into that. Hawaii is a great place to have a business if you have clients, you know. There's land here that can be purchased where dogs can be raised, where you could have horses and tiny horses. It's a really still great place to live a wild and free life. So I'll end there. Please leave your comments and subscribe. Blessings. Namaste. Come here, Satori. Come. Come. She doesn't like to be on camera. Come on, baby. Come. No. I give her choice when she's out of her service vest. She doesn't have to do as much stuff because she has to do a lot of, you know, be on task. I think she's on task, you know, when she's in these stores for me, and she understands that. So she at least understands so much as a puppy. I mean, she does impressive work, you know. When I look at all these other service dog videos, um, and how much time she can be on and good behaved and in public access, she's already done, you know, hours if you include the bus. Where she's just mostly laying on my lap, but still, she's still in her mouth guard and her vest. Anyways, hope to talk to more people, and yeah, Satori will do an appearance someday.